Before we get into today's video, I want to give a little bit of context on how bad it could be. I am about to run into one of the worst wells that I've ever drilled. And I want to show you a picture of what could happen, what potentially could happen in a situation like this. So when drilling rigs are air-powered machines pumping large volumes of air down in the ground, and when you run into sandy formations and large volumes of water, you can create a sinkhole under your rig, and it can swallow your rig, and it can kill everybody around it. So I just want you to have that picture in your head before you watch this video. So I'm sitting in the drilling rig right now. It is about 29 degrees outside, so it's a tick below freezing. It's supposed to get above freezing, but it's cold right now for us. We are going to drill a well in between two wells that have collapsed. So I have no idea what I'm about to run into, and I'm kind of nervous about today. I want everything to go smoothly, but two wells already collapsed, and I'm in between both of them. There's just no other area that the county will allow us to drill the wells. We got to drill it where they say. It's kind of crazy, but yeah, I'll go out there. We'll head out there right now, and I'll show you what the other well is that's visible, and I'll give you a little background on it, and then we'll cut a hole and see what this ground has in store for us. Okay, we're here. This is the really old original well. I don't really know anything about it. And then we come back here. There's the other well. This was the newer one that they drilled. I don't know when they drilled it, but let's see. So that's what we get underneath the cover. And then when you take this off, it literally just falls off. You look down in the hole. I don't know if y'all can see it. Let's see if I turn the light on. You see the liner down there? You caught a glimpse of it. I don't know if it's a liner or a sleeve. I think they tried to sleeve that well with slotted sleeve, and they didn't gravel pack it, and the sand slowly went through the sleeve, locking everything in. Yep.
Okay, y'all. Y'all have a great day.
All right, Daddy.
I'm going to Creekmore.
All right. All right, be safe. Let's hope she fires. Fire in the hole. The first like 3 feet of this job, the dirt had so much like sticky moisture. It was actually like sticking on the sides of my wing bit, and you'll see here when it does that, you got to worry. I like to get the guys to pull off those cakes of dirt because it'll actually seal completely off. And when it seals completely off, it can actually lift the entire ground around the base of the machine. So your first 3 to 5 feet is probably some of your most important drilling. Got to keep the hole clean. I'd say within about 10 feet, it was already sand. I like to keep my work area very clean. Alright, got our first initial 20-foot dug. We've taken the wing bit off, and now we're going in with the 8-inch hammer and the 10-inch bit. This is the hammer that I was talking about. You haven't allowed it to warm up, so all the internals need to get warm before I fire it up. So all I'm doing now is really just letting the rod spin and letting the air blow through the hammer. I'm going to let that do that for about 3 or 4 minutes. That'll help the hydraulic fluid kind of thin out because that's cold. Everything is really cold, moving slow. So by keeping the rotation going, that keeps your hydraulic fluid moving. By having the air on, that kind of keeps your compressor fluid moving, kind of get that warmed up and stuff like that. So
just slow and steady since it's cold, and then add to the fact that we're in between two collapsed wells. There's no telling how bad this could be.
I hoped it would be easy. It was the worst well I've ever drilled.
Currently at about 38 feet right now. We're drilling through some sandy formation. I don't know if it's sandstone or just sand, but it's actually pretty like condensed down to the ground. The hammer fires on it really well, and the hole seems to stay open, so I haven't had any signs of it, you know, possibility of it collapsing yet. But that's why I'm trying to keep it dry. It seems to do better. It seems to do better when it's dry. Now, because we're so close to this well, just like the other well in the other video, there's a potential that we could blow out of this well and into that well. There's no telling. All depends on how collapsed it really is. Made it to the bottom. We're at 47 foot right now. I'm gonna bring it all the way back up, clearing the hole out. We're still in that sandstone material. Starting to get a little bit more moisture in it in the last like 3 foot, so I may have to turn water on here in a minute. Gotta keep it clean, y'all. Gotta keep it clean. My hands are cold. I only got about 3 more feet from where I was at 47 foot, and I ran into heavy moisture, so I decided to turn my water on, and I got my foam on right now. That helps bring it up out of the hole. I drilled 3 foot and I didn't have anything come out. So that told me I had to turn on my water and stop until it all got liquidy. This is what I was drilling in for 45 feet. And then the minute you find moisture, it comes out like this. Starts clumping up. So when you find moisture, you gotta turn your water on.
Yeah, when it runs into like, you know, moisture in the ground, you've got to add water.
Made it to the bottom of 67 foot. The sand is pretty gnarly down there. Because we're in so much sand, when you go to disconnect the rod, turn the air off and all that, you want to make sure you foam the well really well. That's what all this is. This is all foam. And the foam helps lift the sand out of the well. Well, when you shut the air off, the foam or the sand can wash back up into the end of the drill bit and plug it up. So what I like to do, give it a lot of foam for about 10 seconds.
See my lunch back there.
That'll
on the
foam
oil
the hole
cooler.
and get the it'll get the sand away from the tip of the bit. There we go. So the foam will get nice and heavy. See how nice it looks?
Your friend in situations.
That'll
like
help
this.
me change my bit
I
out.
remember about
You know it's good when you take the drill rod off. I'll open it up. I'll show you.
if you can see
When
foam
you have
there,
it
then you know
present
foam is in your hammer.
in the rod.
Pull the plug up.
That's how you know you're good. Let's keep going. All right, some kind of crazy happened. Where am I? I'm at about 113 feet right now. What you see right there, I just dropped down through a freaking open hole. I'm that deep, and finally I'm getting water. So what I did, I think I hit a surface vein, and it just all my air stopped, everything. The rod, the bit, everything was just going down. Look at all how colored that water is. It's all surface water. I'm
It went
still
through
in
a
sand.
4 foot open area.
See, it should be firing right here.
No drilling at all. Just went right on through.
Still
Right here,
should be
look.
firing, but it's not.
Going down.
Just
through the
going
open
down
hole.
through open hole. That's crazy.
This had me worried.
There's probably 40 gallons a minute right there. My rotation's pretty low, so I'm not like blocking myself up. Uh-oh.
Just tried to lock up. All all the water from up above, once the bit gets below it, it all starts dumping the sand on top of it.
That's 107 right there. Yeah, I'm about 113.
Look at it all. I mean, just crazy amounts of water down there.
So that's probably the water that the old well had. That's probably why it caved in. They probably stopped right there, but I'm gonna try to case all that water out, because I can smell it. Y'all can't smell it, but for about the last 20 minutes I've been smelling this odd smell, and I think what that is just the water down there, the bacteria and stuff like that. It just smells. I don't even know how to explain it. This is a little nerve-wracking because you can be creating a giant pocket underneath the rig 100 feet deep. You don't want it to collapse on you.
And that could very well happen. The entire time had me nervous of creating a void underneath the rig, creating a sinkhole, and just swallowing the machine. There's nothing you could do about it.
Woo! Whoa! That's crazy! I think I saw granite. Oh, look at that! It's quartz. We're in a quartz vein.
The ideal situation here would probably be to set surface casing, but you'd have to set something like 120 feet of surface casing, and then, you know, I would have to order that. You know, we don't have that sitting on the yard. So I was really trying my best to just get down deep, get down to a point to where I knew that I was in competent bedrock. And I just kept digging deeper and deeper and deeper, and it just wasn't showing up. I kept looking at rock samples, and it just kept looking like sand, until I finally found one little pebble.
That's what I like to see. Got a little bit of granite.
Where there's one little piece of granite, there's more. Needed one more jug of foam. So right now I've been through 15 gallons of foam, and he's bringing me around the 20-gallon jug. Currently at 127 feet. It's just insane. The amount of water that dumps in from that 110-foot spot. It honestly made me nervous the entire time because all that water is coming up and out of a hole, and the only thing that's holding that hole open is sand and air pressure, you know. And I'm sure with all that water, here comes some foam. Oh, yeah, get the foam, get the foam. I know I foamed it. I could not risk the big 8-inch hammer and the 10-inch bit to get plugged up with sand. If that were to happen, I could potentially trap the entire drill stem down the hole. So it's worth it for me to just dump the foam in it right before I change rods out and foam it to look like that. Because if it looks like that there, it's the same way down in the bottom of the hole, and that gives resistance for the sand to not wash back up into the air ports in the bottom of the bit. So now I go and slow my foam down. I had it on real high. And the only reason it looks so bad is because that foam is mixing with 40 gallons a minute rather than mixing with 3 or 4 gallons a minute.
Okay, so right now I've got out about 130 foot of casing. I'm in a little bit better consolidated rock. It's not so much sand, and my chain isn't moving down as fast. So that's good. It's telling me it's pretty competent rock. And like, this was the sandy material. And then if you look at this right here, you can tell it's consolidated with some more rock. Now it's still kind of like I don't know, a sandstone type of material, but it's still a lot better than whatever this stuff is. I was just really hoping to find solid granite. Just a lot, a whole lot.
If you had to choose between setting casing in sand or setting casing in like a sandstone formation, sandstone is more firm. Sand collapses.
Go turn my foam up. Still working, but it's not what it was. I may be going back through another layer of sand.
I went through a hard layer of sandstone and then more sand.
It doesn't sound like the percussion of rock, but it could sound totally different because I got 40 gallons a minute flooding in on top of it. Kind of crazy. We knew that we were going to run into some shit.
We did. See, the rotation pressures are up above 650, closer to 700. That means the bit is binding up down there, which means it's not cleaning itself. So once your rotation pressures start to bind, stop drilling, let the hole blow all the material out, and then go back down and start drilling. Sometimes you need to pull the hammer up 5 or 10 feet, clean it out, and then go back down.
Gotta get all that sand out. About every 8 foot or so, I'll stop, bring it up, clean the hole.
Then we're gonna go up.
Then I'll go back down and do it
out
again.
That area where the bit is.
I only made it about 4 foot.
The deeper we go, the harder it is for it to clean itself. Because the water at 110 is washing in on top of it. So all of the grit and air has to overcome that.
Look at it all, man. So much foam and sand. Crazy. Most foam I've used in a long time. But we have got damn near 150 foot of casing out here right now. That's about how much I'm going to put in the well. So I'm going to put y'all on time lapse while we trip out and while we set casing.
This will be interesting.
That's just time consuming. And cross our fingers that we get the casing to the bottom. Because when you deal with sand, the likelihood of it's going to collapse and not get the casing in is pretty high. So if I can get it to the bottom, I'm pretty lucky.
So what we're doing here, we're going to trip out and then we're going to try to install casing. Now I knew I already had a problem. As I pulled out, I had to turn my air back on because at 80 feet, the bit got hung pulling out. So I knew I was going to have a hard time getting casing in. Now it's cold, it's 35 degrees outside. So PVC glue doesn't glue very fast in cold weather. So you have to give a lot of time in order for that to glue. Now here, I think I only get in about 80 feet and we have got 150 feet to go. So that means 50% of it I wasn't able to get in on the first go. So what we do is we cut it off, we glue a coupling on, and then we go down basically with a check valve. It's basically a drill rod with nothing on it. And the objective is to go down to the 80-foot mark, and we're going to blow it, and then the casing, you will watch the casing fall. As we blow the drill rods down, we're trying to blow away the sand around the base of the casing. Hold on, let me talk here.
Well, this absolutely sucks. It makes a lot of water at 100 foot, but I'm only at 107, and I had cut 147 foot, so it's 40 foot off the bottom. That means where I hit all that quartz is a layer of rock, and the casing's catching on the lip of the edge of the rock. I'm blowing it. I'm at 140 foot right now. I'm 40 foot below the casing, and all the sand has sealed off. Like the casing should fall, but it's not. It's crazy. All right, I'm gonna do some work on it. If I get it to go down, I'll show it to you. If I just leave my phone on, it'll die.
45 minutes of rotating and blowing to get the casing to basically fall off of that rock ledge.
Blowing, and there's only 107 foot of casing. The casing should fall, but it won't. It's just hung on a lip. This is where you need dual rotary.
Dual rotary drilling is where you would have to use metal casing.
But I'm convinced I can do it.
And you would kind of screw in the casing, and the casing's kind of like part of the drill bit.
This is what we got down there.
That's the quartz that was blocking me up.
Kind of crazy.
There's a lot more weight for it. Just wait.
All right, I've been blowing it for about 30 minutes, going up and down, up and down, up and down, trying to get the bottom of the check valve right at the bottom of the casing to blow it clean to where it actually blew around the outside. Took me about 20 minutes to get it, but where the casing used to be up in the table, it's fallen all the way down level with the bottom. I pushed it down level with the ground. So I actually got it to go down 5 feet, which is great, because before it was not doing that. Now I'm gonna go back down all the way again, and that should be it. Yeah, I can't even see it now.
The casing finally fell.
That's perfect. Oh, I love it.
Took forever.
Take your time. Take your time.
You cannot rush well drilling. You will break stuff, ruin stuff, and lose stuff.
I've only got, what is that? 2 foot, so I'm not even gonna mess with that. Go to the bottom of this rod and I'll be good.
Yeah, I showed you needed 2 foot of that other rod to get to the bottom. You actually needed about 8 foot of that other rod because there's no hammer on it. There's no extension, there's no bit. It's just open rod.
It's about a foot below the surface. Now, don't forget, we still have to glue on and push.
All that has to go in, all that has to be added to it.
So, not sure how good that's gonna go, but we're gonna try it. At least we're getting it to move now. That's a positive direction.
A lot of this well was fluff.
Now we're all tripped out. We'll show you. There's the casing down there.
Look at all the rock around it.
Down there a couple feet.
Look at
not
all
bad.
the rock.
Not sure how far I'll be able to push it
Plum-sized
down.
pieces of quartz. All right, so what we're using now, we're using the head to push the casing in through the sand. And we can only put about 500 pounds of downward pressure on it before you risk basically snapping a coupling or pushing the glue joint into the next piece, and you don't want to do that because then you ruin everything. So you basically push it until your gauges read 500, and then that's it. You got to cut it off and then start the whole process over again. You've got to cut it off, glue a coupling on it, put your check valve on it, go back down and start the process of blowing it again. So luckily I originally only had in 107 foot of casing. Well, I needed another like 42 feet. And I think right here I was able to push in all but about 7 or 8 feet. So that was actually a blessing. But with the blessing sometimes comes a curse, right? So there was a curse. All the way at the bottom, the reason why I couldn't get the additional 7 feet is because of that quartz. All those plum-sized quartz were down there, and the air wouldn't lift them out. The air would lift the water and the air would lift the sand, but it would not lift those large rocks up through the casing because the drill rod was taking up the majority of the space inside of the casing. So you can only fit certain size rocks. There I am, I'm all pissed off because it won't go any deeper. I was so close to it going to the bottom. And I know I've got to go through the whole process of cleaning it again. Now that just took me 2 hours. And now I got to do it again. Mind you, there's only so much water in the water truck before the water truck runs out of water. And I started worrying about this. It's about 2:30 in the afternoon right now. And normally I have casing done by 11.
We got everything in except this 8 foot, right? So it won't go in because I've got giant quartz rocks down there that won't blow up when I was down there blowing it. I had one out here somewhere. But you can see all the quartz around the base of the casing. All those pieces of quartz are down there at the bottom. So I'm gonna send the hammer down there and chew them all up. The casing will fall again. Then I gotta pull back out, put my extension on, and then the casing should theoretically be on the bottom. Very time consuming.
Basically.
All right, my casing is at 139 feet, but it needs to go to 147. Right now, my drill rod and my hammer is at 125. So I've got about, I don't know, what is that, 10, 12 feet to go down. And then my hammer should start chewing up some rock. The casing should start rotating, and then the casing should start to fall.
So I've got my 6-inch hammer with the bit on now. I took the check valve off because the rock below the casing is what's preventing it from going down. So the only way to get the rock out of there is to chew it up. So luckily that piece of metal on the bottom is taking all this abuse. See the casing fall? If that was inside of plastic casing, it would have busted that plastic casing within about the first 30 seconds. So our trick with using a 7-foot piece of metal on the bottom allows us to use PVC casing in a lot of situations where people would just say, put in all metal. The length of the 6-inch hammer is 7 foot. And the length of our, stuff, our casing, our metal casing, we cut it 7 foot. We do that on purpose. See, once I get to the bottom of that drill rod, that's only 145 feet. It's not 147 feet. So I will theoretically have to drill 2 or 3 feet of the next rod sitting there in the carousel in order to truly get the casing on the bottom. And that's my goal here. I physically cannot see the casing anymore. It's out of sight. I just have to trust my intuition, and I have to trust my gauges, and I have to pay attention to make sure that the hole's not locking up. The hole is still giving me air. It's still giving me water. It's still giving me chips. There's so many things that I'm paying attention to here. And it was so nerve-wracking. So nerve-wracking. And see, right now I'm bringing the drill rod up. I don't know if I'm bringing up the casing as well. 9 times out of 10, a rock is going to be hung between the bit and the casing, and it's going to bring the casing up with you. You don't want that to happen. I'm at 145 feet, so there's success there, right? I need to be beyond 147 to get the casing to the bottom. So I'm rushing really fast, trying to hurry up, because the casing's not on the bottom. So there's nothing to prevent the sand or the water from rushing into the bottom of my bit. I just have to hope and cross my fingers that my bit doesn't plug up. And the fact that you can see the water and the air shooting out of the ground means it didn't get plugged up. Worked really, really hard to try to keep that hole clean. See the grease mark on the drill rod? That is my indication of being on the actual bottom of the borehole that I cut with the 10-inch bit. And I just reached it right there. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to attempt to cut about 3 or 4 feet beyond it to give it kind of a funneling effect, a tapering effect, even if it's like this, to give the casing somewhere to fall into center. And if I can create a pocket below the casing and the casing can kind of shimmy into it, then sediment, grit, and stuff will go around it, and that'll seal the casing, and then I'll be done. See my celebration? Watch. That's a premature celebration. But I was still excited nonetheless, because it's the first time I've been able to drill on the bottom of this borehole all day. So I'm slowly bringing the drill rod up, trying to make sure the hole's clean, because I still have to add on that additional piece of casing. So I've started the drilling process down there, but I don't have any physical signs of my casing. So I've got to pull everything back out and extend the casing. And that's what I'm going to attempt to do here. Attempt. See, what ended up happening, I can see it on the gauge. The pressure gauge is slowly climbing. I can still see it sitting here right now watching it on screen. It's at about 260 right now. I haven't noticed it. I'm questioning it. I'm like, why is the hammer firing? Uh-oh. I'm having that uh-oh moment. Feels like somebody's gonna grab my guts and just squeezing them. Because I know what's about to happen. I can see the air pressure climbing. Where is it gonna go? Is it forming a big giant balloon down under the ground? I don't know. But it's gotta go somewhere. Air pressure's gotta go somewhere. And there it goes. Yeah, and unfortunately, my camera died right there. So let's watch a couple replays. That's the casing shooting up out of the hole. And there goes all the stuff that was blocking it up. It shoots up out of the hole and hits the bottom of the table. Thankfully, I had my wrench out, or the table halves would have went flying and the casing would have went way up. That was so dangerous. But the beautiful thing is, it truly cleaned the hole out.
All right, folks. Well, I don't know when exactly my battery died, but it was about an hour ago. And we have ran completely out of water in our water truck. And it's, you know, about to get dark. So I honestly, I was successful. I was very happy with how it turned out. I fought it for a while. We've got 150 feet of casing in the ground. And as soon as I started drilling, gray granite appeared. So that lets me know that the casing is into gray granite and not into this stuff. That was what I was eager to find out. And I was down there around 148, 149. And I could tell the chain was tight, but I didn't know if I was going to be in gray grit. And judging by what it looks like, I've only drilled 15 feet beyond the base of the casing. And the reason for that was in order to seat the casing to make sure that it wasn't, you know, this far up above where it should be. I wanted to make sure it was all the way on the bottom. So it is all the way on the bottom. I'm completely out of water. And it's about to snow. So we had to blow all the air lines and everything. I've got the hammer down in the well at 80 feet to keep it warm to where we don't have to worry about that part of it. But I had to blow all the lines out.
Notice the wood underneath the tires.
My phone died because I've been filming so freaking much. But there was a period of time when this well over here did like cross over, and that was around 130 feet. So I think that well is probably, you know, 120, 130. But it did. We had a big blow up come up over there on ours, and then air started coming out over here. But yeah, kind of crazy.
I'm still paranoid in the back of my mind that the sinkholes could form. Especially now that we shut the rig off.
My feet are a little numb. All right, it's been about 5 days, 4 or 5 days, and we got 4 inches of snow. The temperature's been down around 19 to 21 degrees, so we haven't been back. And today we're finally going back. It's the first day that we're above freezing and the roads are clear. So since it's above freezing, our pipes that go between the water truck and the drilling rig won't freeze. So we are hooking up to the mats right now because I don't know how easily the drilling rig is gonna get out of this hole, and I don't know how easily the water truck's gonna get into the hole. So we're gonna be heading out there, try to finish this well today. It's not bad. Well, it's been about 20 minutes. We got the water truck in here. It it like the guy stuck just trying to get in and make this first initial turn. I ended up backing up, got a running start on the asphalt and just sent it. And right now we're transferring fuel into the drill rig. I've got just the engine running at idle, so it's not spinning the compressor right now. I gotta let it run for about 10 to 15 minutes, get my oil temp up to about 150, and then I'll shut it off, re-engage the clutch to connect the compressor, and then we'll fire it up again, and then we'll start drilling. So basically, the amount of time it takes for me to transfer the 100 gallons of fuel, that's when we'll start drilling. Get a little water temp. Starting to raise up a little bit. All right.
So I let the motor warm up for a little while. Now I'm about to re-engage the big air compressor.
Drip off. Pull up. All right. Compressor is locked in.
Crank it when it's this cold. It takes forever and the batteries are liable to die.
Fire it back up, prime the water pump, and get back to
Easier
drilling.
on the motor doing it this way.
Give it a little bit of throttle. Oh yeah.
Now we get to go look for water.
Woo. She definitely needed that time to warm up. Still struggled. Now I gotta let that oil warm up. Woo, my hands are cold, boy. That's on. Lubricator. Use that. Let's go ahead and low air. Woo, shit.
It just blew water all over me. Was not expecting it. Water.
Whole head water in it.
But I know the casing is on the bottom because we pushed it and it sealed when we were blowing it. But over, I don't know, a 5-day period that it sat there due to the weather, I'm sure water slowly percolated around the base of the casing and filled up the annular space inside the casing. But all we needed to do was drill it a little bit more, you know. And I couldn't. I was out of water after day one. I was completely out of water. And when I ran it out of water, I drilled it. Yeah, the chain's frozen into this weird kink. But on the end of day one, I sat there and let it blow, and no water came out of the center of the casing. That told me that I had it sealed. And now this is the real test. The real test is, did any sand come into the casing? And if it did, then that tells me that the well would still have a potential to collapse like the other two. It didn't. It didn't have any sand in it whatsoever. I quit the previous day, or the previous day, for me here, at 160 feet. And when I lit it back up to start drilling here, it literally started firing at the exact same spot. And nothing but clean, clear water came out before then. So that told me that no sand entered that well, which honestly made me feel really proud because I got called here to drill the 3rd well on this property and I didn't want to have the same result. So at least I had enough backstory to know that the other 2 wells, collapsed, that if I didn't do my due diligence and set good enough casing, I would have the same exact result. So that's why I did what I did here, setting 150 foot of casing. Like, absolutely insane. Deepest casing I personally have ever set. I've set 147 once, and this was 150.
All right, that looks good.
Everything is stuck. Everything is frozen.
thing is sticky. Woo, boy. Man, I done went through 3 pair of gloves already.
I don't like cold
It
weather.
hurts. Drill rod will get warm.
Being cold and wet is nothing but miserable.
It looks good. Very happy with that.
That's literally right where we
Right,
left
that's
off.
where we left off. About 158
Look at
foot. The beautiful thing is, after all of that
Gray
sand,
grit.
we
Yay!
are drilling in gray granite. That is awesome. Very hard to do.
If it was easy, everybody'd do it. Foot right there.
180 foot.
Well, I'd say 183. Mike's over there standing on the side of the rod box catching the warm air off the air compressor and the radiator. He just stays there all day because it's nice and warm. I'm grabbing the sub because it's hot, it's warm. The compressed air keeps it warm, so I'll grab it and it'll dry my gloves off and put some warmth in my hands before I start messing with the controls. Do is continue to drill until we try to find some water. Luckily, it's a small house. It's just a 2-bedroom house. They're going to use it for a rental property, so they don't need you know, an abundance of water. They just need enough to run a household. Now, if you watch any of my fracking videos, this well, I probably couldn't hydrofrack. Potentially because it's got so much casing in it, but honestly, I'd be afraid to try to frack this well. I wouldn't want a water vein to be opened up connecting to any sand in the surface.
Right now I'm at 305 feet down the ground. If you look right here at the base of the casing, see how it's full, the water's full? That means it's finally sealed off down there, which is good. It'll be helpful for when we grout it. I'm going to go ahead and stop, shut my water off, and I'm going to see exactly how much water this well's making right now. I know I'm way over the estimated quote, so I don't want to go any deeper, causing the bill to get any higher if it's not necessary.
We're like maybe 245. But I'm trying to see.
Got to give it about 5 minutes. All right, I've given it plenty of time. Looks like it's making about 2 gallons a minute, maybe a little bit more. But it's hard to judge because the ground around the casing is, I think, sucking up the water with all the sand below it. So I'm not getting as much flowing away from the machine as I typically would. I got to base it off what's coming off that back corner, what's coming off of the skirt. If you were to capture all that in a bucket, how fast would it take to fill the bucket? Probably about 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes. So I'm going to drill 2 more rods. I'll measure it again, and we'll probably call it a day at 350 foot. So I've had the air off for about 90 seconds. You can tell. See how much the water has went down? It receded around the casing.
It was that vein at 107 foot. It's just sucking everything up.
All right. We're gonna see, I've had the air off for about 2 minutes. Let's see how much water comes out when I ignite. When I turn my air on, we'll get a burst of water that comes out. That's how much water the well made in the 2 minutes that it was off.
We We had the air off for 2 minutes. Now I turn it back on. This is the production that it made in that 2-minute span of time.
It didn't seem too bad. It's definitely making some water between, you know, when we shut the water off, changing rods out, stuff like that. So it's a usable well. It's a usable well. I think most of them on this road back here are about 350 foot. So I at least want to get close to that. Since we shut off that major water at 100 foot, you know, but I think that's what both of the other wells had. That's probably why they collapsed. Competent rock was not found until about 145. What I've been doing with the bentonite, every 40 feet that I would drill, I would pour a bag of bentonite down the hole. Then I'd drill another 40 feet, I'd pour another bag of bentonite down the hole. Because the vein down there at 100, 105, that was giving us all that stuff, all that water when we were trying to set casing, I had to try to seal that off. I put a bag in there on Thursday, right as we left, to try to help it go down there and seal it off. But, you know, the hole stayed open for a long time, so I was worried that I would never get it to seal. So, by putting the bentonite in there, it gave it time to seal up, and now she's finally sealed off, which is good. It'll give us the ability to grout it without eating, you know, a whole pallet worth of bentonite. All right, I'm sitting in the truck right now to get a little bit of warmth before I start tripping out. But I got the back of the rig all cleaned up, all the sand off of it, and I'm just letting it blow right now. I want it to be about 8 or 9 minutes to make sure I got good water. Even if I have 1.5 gallons, 2 gallons a minute, I'll be happy with that. It's not a very big house. I think it's just a rental property. So as long as they don't have a well that keeps collapsing, I think they'll be happy. But, you know, and this is where I get perspective. I got 5 people who live in my house. It's a 300-foot well. The pump's at 275, and we have 1.5 gallons a minute. And we run just fine on that with 5 people. You know, so, all right. Let's get out and take a look to see what it is, and then we're going to trip out. I'll put y'all on time lapse while we do that. And then once we get it all pulled out, we'll grout it. I'd say it makes about 2 gallons a minute. I mean, that isn't that bad of a stream. Might make a little bit more than 2 gallons a minute. Good deal. Got it all tripped out. Might put some pads underneath the rig. That'll be good, because first we got to get the water truck out of here. Then we got to move the mats over to this truck, get this truck out of here. But before we do any of that, I got to start to grout.
Getting both of those trucks out of there after all that snow was so bad.
Ain't no telling how many bags of grout. Well, that'll take. Water's down there, I don't know, probably 15, 16 feet.
Originally, we had dumped 4 bags of hole plug in the well to try to plug up that 110-foot zone. And I think that was probably the best decision that I could have made, because over time, I think it did seal off that zone to where what you see here, we were able to actually get the grout to come up. Now, it slowly did settle a little bit over time, but the bentonite's going to reach a point where it, you know, it hardens up to a point where it stops settling.
I had to come back, you know, when we
But,
come back to put the pump
you know,
in.
we pumped out thousands, tens of thousands of gallons. If you do the math on that, I don't know if somebody wants to do the math. That was probably 8 hours at 40 gallons a minute. So you do the math on that. That's how many gallons of water we pumped out from under the ground at 110 foot.
Mike back there doing too much.
Mike's a one-man wrecking crew, man. That dude loves to work. I love to work. Mike lives to work. I mean, the best dude. He's the best dude.
Now, just in case I forgot to mention it, that is the original well. It collapsed. This was the replacement well. It collapsed.
I wish I knew who drilled the original.
Now this is the third well.
Replacement well.
And I tried to do everything in my power to not have that collapse.
I didn't eat lunch that day. I worked straight through it.
Turn the RPM
I could
on,
not get off the
PTO.
back of the rig on day one until about 4:30.
Okay.
It was just too dangerous.
Mike says he don't want no part of getting it stuck. Alright. Power divider. Everything's good. Let me make sure. I gotta figure out what direction my tires are pointed. They're in the right direction. Okay. Get it. Get it, 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 girl. Yep. Oh, God. That's a bump. Okie dokie. That's great. I need to get far enough to where the rig can have a spot and the water and the service truck have a spot to turn around. Alright, that's good. Good deal. Turn that off. Whew. Alright, alright, alright.
We can ruin a yard.
Yeah, it was funny. It was spinning and then it caught and then it took off. It shot those things out the back. How bad does it look? Yeah, it looks pretty bad. The drill bit's on the bumper rattling. I have a feeling I'm gonna need two more. I need to put one right there and one on the other side before I try to get this to go. Okay. Looks like round two. Let's see if we get lucky. Let's see if we get lucky. Alright, let's see. Get me some power divider. Lock in the backs. I don't want to lock the diff because then I can't turn for shit. Okay. Let's do it. Not too fast, not too fast. Come on, baby, come on, baby. Go, 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 go. Yes. Yes. Whew. At least something went easy in this. Now, what are y'all's thoughts? You think we should load it up and then just disconnect the trailer and spin it around in the front yard by hand? Because if I try to back that trailer up, I don't want to, I don't want to get the truck stuck and then have to unload mats again. Got that all turned around, and we didn't get stuck. We can mess up a yard in a heartbeat, that's for sure. Okay, I still got to do my paperwork and my well tag. I didn't have any time to do it. Let's see. Yeah, she's already settling. Not bad though. Alright, got the paperwork all done. Got the tag all done. I'm gonna glue the tag on later when we come back. Put the pump in it. We scraped up all the bentonite, put it around it. Sun went down, it's starting to get cold. Let me put a little bit around the edge. Yeah. That'll keep it. Here you go, Jack. Okie doke. Time to go. Well, folks, thank you for watching. Nothing left for me to do but go back to the shop, load up, and get ready for the next one, I reckon.
But I think we've got another 2 more days of real cold weather. It's going to get down to about 19. So I won't be drilling for the next 2 days. But I put a lot of effort into this video. So make sure you give it a thumbs up. If you're not subscribed, you know, hit the subscribe button. Help me grow the channel. But I got about another hour's worth of work. Getting it back to the shop. Fuel it up. Load it up. Put it up. Clean it up. Get all the sand off of me. And be on to the next one. So well, I just wanted to come on here right at the end of the video, and I want to say thank y'all for sticking with me throughout the year. I put a lot of effort into this channel, and that was probably one of the most in-depth videos that I've made, and it's twice as much work for me because I basically have to edit a video twice to try to put commentary on it. So I did this for the 10% of viewers who are out there hearing impaired, who I get in the comments section all the time wanting to know a little bit more about it because they can't hear. So I figured if I put some sort of commentary in it, that would be helpful for them. I just want to wish everybody a happy new year, because that's coming up really soon. And let me know what you think about this video in the comments, and I look forward to reading them. So thank y'all for watching, and we'll see y'all next time. Peace.